What we have today from this weekend is a government failure, a colossal one, and it also almost cost a presidential candidate his life. I'm trying to stay away from the political fray, and I won't make any political statements here, and I will also even keep this candidate's name off this video. I want to preface this entire presentation by my heart and prayers and condolences go out to the families of the person that was lost and the two individuals, including the candidate, that were injured. You are in our prayers. All right. Again, I want to stay out of the political fray, but I really want to take a look at this from a taxpayer perspective. And I'm trying to make this response totally objective. I will disclose up front, I'm a registered Republican for voting reasons, but really I'm a libertarian and a conservative. And the longer I live, the greater my opinion is that government almost always fails no matter how much money they take in from the taxpayer. And that's why I believe in a limited government, because government is never accountable. And really, I feel that this is a huge example of the large price tag that was paid in the complete failure and breakdown of exactly what the mission was of the Secret Service. The key point about the total colossal breakdown, let's frame this in the context of this government organization. It is a directorate. It is funded, as you can see here, by almost $3.2 billion. This is not 3.2 million, because this is in dollars and thousands, so you've got to add some zeros on the end of that. 3.2 billion. That 3.2 billion, amongst other things, funds on payroll 7,000 agents. Now, I understand, before you argue against me, these agents are spread out over the globe, but there's a lot of agents, which I will note later in the video. They are employed in a zero-fail mission, which means there's no room for any error. This is the context of the Secret Service. In my mind, I'm trying to fathom how this could have failed absolutely so bad. I want to get into a little bit more of the organization. You know, I thought that this was a large part of the organization. Down here you can see Office of Protective Operations is just one of many departments. I didn't count these up, but there's obviously many. And you know, the Secret Service has several submissions. I'm not going to get into those today because, of course, we know their primary mission is protecting presidents, vice presidents, and those that held those offices that have moved on. We have a large organization of 7,000 agents. Yeah, we have a $3.2 billion budget. And who breaks through this wall of security? That is a 20-year-old kid who failed to make his high school shooting team with no military training, a store-bought rifle, I'm assuming there was a scope on it, I don't know that, who got within 150 yards of a protected candidate and was in a prime shooting location. It was in the open, totally in the clear. And then our young man got off 3 to 7 rounds before he was neutralized. I think it's obvious, had this been anybody that had any kind of sniper training, had been one of our adversaries, North Korea, Russia, or a Chinese sniper, really any trained rifleman would have smoked that target. By luck or grace of God, I don't know, but that individual is walking today. I want to make a disclaimer. I am a veteran, and I did qualify in my military training with the 9mm and the M16. I also grew up hunting. I do not consider myself an expert. Of course, my military qualifications have long gone away. I do know a little bit about firearms, and I did have some intelligence training when I was in the Air Force. So let's take a look at this area. Right here is where the stand for Trump was put up and where he spoke from. So behind here, these are livestock barns. I wouldn't think there would be a very good shooting position from behind there. So let's keep going. Concern number one, tree line. So somebody could hide in that tree line. Now, within that tree line, there would be a limited angle to the front of these stock barns for shooting. So back in this area of this residential neighborhood, probably not a good area to shoot from, although this entire tree line would be a good area to hide from. If you read some of the comments made by the people that lived on that area, they note that they were never interviewed by the Secret Service. They were never told to stay out of their backyards. There were no interviews to multiple, I can't say all, multiple residents in that area. Did not have any Secret Service come through, any law enforcement come through. Nobody came and talked to them about security measures or anything like that. So I have no idea what kind of security was in that tree line residential area, which is obviously off the property of the fairgrounds. As we go to about the 1 o'clock position right here, we have some barns, which I think might offer a shooting alley. However, it would be problematic with this tree line. If those trees are high enough, you couldn't get a shot through there, but I would think Secret Service and law enforcement would want to at least patrol this area and watch it. So again, moving around in a clock position, probably nothing really in here is a really good shooting angle. This looks as a old grandstand here, maybe for rodeos. I don't know. It is stockyard, so maybe for showing. It looks open air underneath, so that to me, if I was a shooter, I wouldn't like that because I would be out in the open before I got to the rooftop. Over here, notice we have a runway and an airport with hangars. Now, I don't think these offer great places to shoot from. However, the airport itself is a threat. Why is that? And again, I come from an aviation background. That was my degree in college, although I did satellite surveillance in the Air Force, not flying. The air above and around this facility, my mind, can't verify this, but just standard op, would be close to all flying. It would be a no-fly zone for the time that the candidate was there. However, somebody rather quickly could open up a hangar door, get an aircraft down the runway, and make a quick crash dash or line up in a shooting position to take the president out. So what I'm saying is you can't totally discard this as no threat. And I would think that they would have some presence around the hangars and possibly defensive shooters for the runway in case somebody decided to fly into the candidate speaking. This area here, I believe, is about 500-600 yards out, and it would offer some direct shooting lanes to this area. I wouldn't consider these primary places that a shooter could go. I guess the one argument would be access would be easy and security would be lower. Certainly there's better places to shoot from. I would call this probably the best place as far as a shooting alley is concerned. However, if one was thinking in a devious manner to do that, this would probably be a highly secured place, so it would be hard to get to, although it would be easy to shoot from. Moving around here, This is now the area where the perpetrator came in. And if you look over in this corner, maybe that building would be a good shooting angle. There's not too much in a tree line here. You do have tree line here, but it's a poor angle for the stage. Maybe right in here would have been good. But the best place to shoot from is an elevated position as close to the target as possible. And guess where that would be? That's exactly where he showed up on. This is off the property of the Agra Fairgrounds. Somehow, a 20-year-old got in that building, climbed up to the rooftop, and got a 150-yard shot to the target. Now, here's my issue, and I'm not here to personally pick on the Secret Service. I respect their service. I respect their sacrifice. But that point where that shooter shot from should have been the most monitored point. Of all the areas where somebody could shoot from, that should have been the most monitored area. And let's talk about this. The reason doesn't matter. Remember, this is a zero-fail mission. And ultimately, the responsibility falls on the Secret Service. Even though they might not have been performing a function, they were in the leadership function, the command control function on this operation. Remember, the agency has 7,000 people to draw from, so manpower shouldn't be mentioned. It's a zero-fail mission. If you're short on people, you call people in and you make them work overtime. If you're short on people, you call in the bureaucrats behind the desks in the Washington Beltway and you make them work a weekend. Saying underfunded, undermanned for this event, it's insane to me. And anybody that's worked in the military, you're 24/7, 365. If work needs to be done, you don't get off no matter what. So I feel that internal reinforcements could have been called in. Now, say as a decision on protocol, the Secret Service said we have everything inside fairgrounds, and external agencies, Pennsylvania State Police and county sheriffs, have everything outside. That does not forgive the Secret Service for not overseeing that. And those should have been worked out with coordination. Now, let's just say all those are planning excuses for not having protection. Manning, you can't coordinate for whatever reason. It happened too fast. Didn't have time to prepare and plan. Okay, simple solution. You don't put the candidate out in the open. Don't say I'm canceling it. What I'm saying is, if the Secret Service and local authorities deem we given the current conditions, can't protect the situation, you put that candidate behind glass. Bulletproof glass. This ensures to a relatively high degree that they do not get shot. It's not very expensive to do. Again, when you're looking at a $3.2 billion budget, I would think that would be relatively cost effective. Another issue I have is aerial reconnaissance. I would think there were helicopters that could perform tactical functions in the area, but worst case and cheapest case, there should have been several drones in the area watching these key points, as I have pointed out. This whole area could have been probably covered down to the foot with at the most a half a dozen drones. I even think that probably 4 drones could do a really good job of covering this area. Again, very cheap, very effective, very efficient. And what would you employ if you were short on manpower? Technology. It even says on the website that they're one of the biggest technology users. All right, let's talk about accountability. Secret Service Director Kimberly, I believe it's Cheatle, should be fired. This is a zero-failure game, and we have a big issue.